Hi there. Thank you for joining me. I'm Certified Family Life Educator Susan Graham with Achieve Life Balance. Welcome to 3 Simple Steps to Stress-Free Parenting. I'm here to share with you the best tools for getting your kids to listen the first time without yelling, screaming, nagging, or any of that nonsense. No more giving up, giving in, or doing it yourself. No more feeling guilty because you exploded or because you chose a consequence that simply doesn't work or felt more harsh than it should have been. No more feeling like a bad parent, like you're the only one who can't seem to get it together. Fact check, you are not alone. This is such a common issue, getting our kids to listen the first time and not exploding when it comes to parenting and you reach your limit. That's why I am offering this webinar for free, because I have tools that work and I want to support you. When it comes to parenting tools, one of the first components of the 3 simple steps is to make sure you have clear rules and expectations. Now, if you're sitting there listening to this webinar, you're probably thinking, of course I have clear rules and expectations in my house. Everybody knows what to expect. They just don't listen. But let me ask you again, are you sure that you have clear rules and expectations? Well, let's do it. Let's check this. Can you list those rules and expectations? Could your kids list them? If you're parenting with a co-parent in the home or a spouse, would their list look the same? And just as importantly, do these rules stay the same from day to day? Because what happens is we often think we have these clear rules and expectations, but realistically, we're not necessarily on the same page. Not everyone in the house, and not always at the same time. What happens is this leads to confusion. If we're not all on the same page, our kids have the ability to say, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what I did wrong. Yesterday it was okay that I did this, but today it's not. Or I don't know the rules. Nobody told me. You might hear, Dad said I could. Or what about, well, yesterday you didn't make me do the chore, so why do you care so much today? It leads to confusion. And even if it's not a matter of confusion, it's a matter of your kids taking advantage of it, well, we're giving them that opportunity if we don't have clear rules and expectations. So the very first thing that I would like to recommend that you do as a parent is to establish those clear rules, clear expectations, and clear consequences. Everybody's on the same page at the same time. Now, one way that you can do that, because we can't encompass every single rule and every single expectation, is to establish a set of approximately 10 household rules that are going to help your house run smoothly. And one of the things that you can do to ensure that happens is make a quick list of the current rules that you have, or the rules you think you have. If you have a co-parent, have them do the same thing. Compare these lists. Another way to create a household list is to choose common issues. Choose behaviors that are repetitive or keep coming up that are causing you that most stress. Why not just knock them out, get rid of them by establishing your expectations right off the bat? So you can look at rules such as navigating respectful behavior. What do you consider respectful? Caring for property. How are we supposed to take care of the things that we own? You might have household rules that reflect positive and healthy actions or choices. As I mentioned, one of the best things you can do is to include in your household rules and expectations is the most common household behavioral issue. Let's look at an example of household rules. The Miller family rules. Be respectful. Treat others like you would want to be treated. In this house, we communicate calmly. That means we don't yell. We use an indoor voice. If we make a mess, we clean it up. Homework and chores before bedtime We're going to max our screen time, 10 hours a day for everyone. No devices at dinner or bedtime, no exceptions. Food stays in the kitchen. Mom's office is off limits. And no helmet, then you don't ride your bike. It's a safety issue. So once you have these household rules, it's important that your family knows about them. And a great way to do that is to have a family meeting. Sit down, collaborate about these rules. Here are the new rules, and this is why they're important. Everybody will be on the same page, and everybody has an opportunity to communicate. There won't be any more of this. I didn't know. You're all going to be on the same page. And when you're done with the meeting, I highly suggest you write down those clear rules. You post them. If you've got young kids, you can use pictures. Now, what is number 2 on the list? Remember, there are just 3 simple steps to stress-free parenting. Number 2 on the list is consistency. Parents mean what they say and they say what they mean. They are consistent in their modeling. They're consistent with those household rules and expectations. And their responsibilities don't change. That doesn't mean that you don't have different chores on different days. It just means that you keep up those expectations that your kids are going to complete those chores as opposed to you stepping in and completing them for them. Are you consistent? Well, let's take a look. Let's ask some questions and see if you feel like you're a consistent parent. Have you ever let things slide during a busy week, only to get no support on the weekends when there's actually time to get things done? So Monday, Tuesday, things are busy, hectic, you're running kids around. Same maybe with Wednesday. You're kind of ignoring your expectations, your rules. Maybe you aren't being so meticulous about the chores, but then the weekend comes and then suddenly you're trying to make up for it all and nobody's paying attention to you. Have you ever completed a chore or task yourself because you knew it was easier, faster, or because you wanted to get it done and you knew it would be done right if you did it? Or because you just didn't want to argue with your kids anymore, so you gave them a pass? Have you ever repeated yourself over and over and over again until you either just gave up or you exploded, yelled, argued, threatened? That's why many of us are here with listening to this webinar, right? Because we repeat ourselves, nothing happens, and then we either just let it pass or there we are, we explode, and then the guilt sets in, and then we try and make up for it. And we promise not to repeat this pattern, but what do? Well, we repeat it. Happens again and again. Basically, what's happening is you're not being consistent. And it can create a scenario where if you're not consistent, then your kids are willing to take the chance, right? If you're wishy-washy about the rules and expectations, I can guarantee you your kids will be too. And more importantly, if there's a chance that they're going to get out of it, out of a chore or responsibility, well, it's worth the battle, right? It's worth either arguing with you or ignoring you or waiting until you explode, because in the end, they're either going to get away with it. Well, that was easy. That was worth it. Or they'll still be forced to do the chore that they would have been expected to do anyway. And this can really happen if they get away with it a lot. Why is it so hard to be consistent? Well, we're busy, we're stressed, we're on overload. There are so many things that are on our plates. Sometimes it's hard to be consistent because as parents, we don't always agree. We're not always on the same page when it comes to parenting. And in reality, consistency, at least in the beginning, does take time, energy, and effort. But I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it will become. Consistency in the long run is worth it. I do want to point out that it doesn't mean, being consistent doesn't mean there are no inconsistencies at all, that there are no exceptions, but that they're limited to exceptions. Now, one way to remain consistent that will make your life truly easier is to create a schedule that makes sense. And that means that if Monday tends to be a really busy day, then Monday isn't necessarily the day that you're going to set up a whole lot of chores, right? If you want to set aside time on Saturday to make sure that you have downtime, but you want chores to be done, then include in your schedule a plan for chores to come first, and remaining time goes to family time. And modify as your family changes, because obviously your family is going to grow. Different chores will need to be completed. Schedules will change. So be prepared to modify as your family needs it. What is number 3, the last on this list of 3 simple things, 3 simple steps? Being committed. Parents follow through with expectations and consequences. They model the behavior they want from their kids, and they enforce rules and consequences. Because you can be as clear as you want with the rules and expectations, you can be as consistent as you want with those rules and expectations. But if you don't enforce them, you are absolutely back to square one. So you absolutely must follow through, or don't expect compliance. Kids stop listening to rules and expectations that are enforced. So why don't parents follow through? Why are parents struggling to be committed? Well, same as for being consistent. We're busy, stressed, on overload. We're tired. Enforcing the rules like consistency takes energy. It often is easier to do it ourselves. We do know that we're going to get it done. We do know that it's going to be right, and we're going to be able to move beyond. We're going to be able to check it off our list. Often, it's hard for parents to be committed as well because consequences don't seem to help. Or you don't know what consequence to use. Have you ever been flustered when it comes to setting a consequence, and you just throw something out there and you know it's not something that you can enforce easily? Or you throw it out there and you know it's way over the top, and then you're wondering, now what do I do? How do you have a plan for consequences? How do you stay committed when this is a difficult component? When consequences don't seem to work, when they're not always effective, or when enforcing them seems to be even more trouble than setting them in the first place. Here's the key to that. Pre-plan with set consequences. That's right. Plan ahead with preset consequences for your most common issues. It makes discipline easier. There's no more guesswork. You are planned and ready to go. Your kids know what to expect. You can eliminate arguments. You no longer have to attack the problem with anger or frustration or stress. Nope, here is the rule, here is the expectation, and here is the consequence. That's it. No need to argue. Your kids know it's coming. All of this reduces stress. So how can you pre-plan for consequences? Well, one of the best things that you can do right now today is you already can work on your clear rules and expectations, right? The 10 most important things that will help your household run smoothly. And part of that list includes things that are common issues that you continually face, those common issues that tend to cause you stress. This is the list you can work off of when you're creating your preset consequences. So after you go back to the list, now it's time to add those consequences. This is actually a great part of the family meeting. You can say, you know what, here's the rule. I need your support. That's why this rule is part of our list. Now we need to talk about what's going to happen if we don't follow through. See what consequences your kids are willing to come up with. If they're over the age of 4, 5, they can come up with some general ideas that are actually usually quite effective. And you also have a buy-in. They're part of this decision. Of course, you're parents. You are the top of the chain. So you don't have to ask your kids for ideas for consequences. You can put down your own consequences. You can make that choice. You can set them, but I definitely would still review them with your kids. Again, everyone knows what to expect. No more arguing, no more stress, no more guesswork. You are able to stay clear, you're able to stay committed, and you're able to follow through with that consequence. What if, however, what if you reach that stage where you still feel like consequences aren't working for you? That can happen. Maybe you're here because you struggle with the consequences. You've tried everything. You struggle to know what consequences to set. What if you have children of different ages or different personalities? What works for one child might not necessarily fit the other child. Sometimes choosing the proper discipline or consequence can be stressful in itself, even if you have this plan or as you're developing the plan. And what if you pick the wrong consequence? What if you come up with this entire list and you try to use one of the consequences and it just backfires on you? It's still not effective. Then what? Guess what, parents? You can try again. It's okay to go back to your kids and say, oh gosh, that's not working. No, we're going to have to change this. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board. That consequence was too harsh, or this consequence doesn't seem to be helping. You can go back in and change that. It's that simple. Just make sure that everybody is clear and on the same page. There are also some really important do's and don'ts when it comes to consequences. Now, I promised you that this webinar was going to be really short and sweet. I wanted to make it as simplistic as possible. I wanted to give you those 3 simple tools and make sure that you could be off and running. This workshop, this webinar, provides a couple of ideas of simple disciplinary tools, and it provides a quick worksheet on how you can set your house rules and goals. But I want to tell you, if you want more support, I have an entire program dedicated to 2 entire programs, one dedicated to discipline. It provides everything that you could possibly use when it comes to discipline. It provides disciplinary tools and consequences for the most common issues: sibling rivalry, getting kids to go to bed, arguing, attitude, talking back, devices. That is a class that I offer. It's called Consequences and Discipline, and providing it at a discount for you today. But I also want to let you know that if you're interested, if you're a parent and you want more tools, all of the tools you could possibly imagine, you really want to go for the gold and you really want to be like the ultimate parent, you want a stress-free home, you want to set the foundation, you want to be on the same page, you just want to knock it out of the park, I'm offering my Powerful Positive Parenting Plus course. It is an amazing course. It's about 3 hours total, but it can be broken up into individual lessons. It is broken up into individual lessons. You can either take the course by watching videos and online worksheets, or you can take the course as a pod course. It comes in pod lessons, so it's all audio if you prefer. This course, called Powerful Positive Parenting Plus, actually incorporates everything that you could possibly want to know when it comes to positive and effective parenting. It provides support and tools, as I mentioned, for you first as a parent. It puts you in a healthy state where you feel, where you can navigate stressors, anxiety, overload in a real, effective, natural, simplistic way. It focuses on you first, because if you're in a good place, then your kids can be in a good place. Plus, if you can navigate those stressors and overload, then you can improve your use of these simple tools. It makes it all the more easier to be clear, consistent, committed. On top of it, Powerful Positive Parenting Plus also helps you determine what your parenting style is, what the different parenting styles are, so you can take a look at your co-parent, you can look at how you were raised, and you can determine not only why you parent the way you do, but how you parent. You'll learn the best parenting style possible, and you'll get simple tools on how to bring you to that parenting style. It will help solidify what you've learned today. It will help you understand what is behind your child's behavior. Why does your child act out? It helps you look at each individual child, and it helps you navigate how to support, manage, and help your child's behavioral issues based on personality, age, disposition. So you can navigate your parenting, your consequences, your support for every single child. We are all unique. In addition, this course, Powerful Positive Parenting Plus, includes that whole set of consequences and discipline. It goes into detail, everything that you could possibly need to help support discipline tools, help navigate consequences when you are stuck. It will, as I mentioned, solidify the 3 simple steps. It's also going to help you build out those 10 household rules and establish those consequences. Everything is in this one course. That course today will come with one free one-on-one with me, like real. You will actually be working one-on-one with me. You'll get a free session, not with somebody else, not with a different coach, with me. You're going to have it all. This is called Powerful Positive Parenting Plus.
It comes with everything you see here and much, much more. Here's a quick side-by-side view of the discounted courses I'm offering today. More information on those discounted courses, including that free one-on-one with Powerful Positive Parenting, can all be found at the link listed here. Although these deals are for a limited time only, you can reserve your spot and get an additional $20 coupon by texting BONUS to 1-866-260-9252. You'll get that coupon code and the link to more information. No obligation. Still not sure? At least get the coupon code in that link. Again, 1-866-260-9252 BONUS, or just click the link. I want to thank you again for joining me on this webinar. I'm Susan Graham, Certified Family Life Educator at Achieve Life Balance.